Hello everyone, I'm Sarah from Sarah Style Designs, and today we are going to be talking about the 10 most common mistakes in brush lettering and how to fix them. Now, since I've been brush lettering for a while, I can definitely tell you I've made tons of mistakes, and so I want to help you fix those mistakes so that you don't have to take the time and effort to try and figure out what the heck you're doing wrong. So let's jump right into it. Mistake number 1 is incorrect grip and pressure. So when you're holding a brush pen, you really want to hold it like you would a regular pen. Although I do say this, and I've seen some very interesting grips on pens. So as far as pressure goes, you want to remember light pressure on the upstrokes or any movement when you're going in the upward motion, and then heavy pressure when you are doing your downstrokes, which is any movement that's in the downward position. Working on drills, which I have a free worksheet on drills that I will link down below. Working on drills will help you drastically with learning the correct pressures. So that's one thing that you can definitely do to help you with pressure. Mistake number 2 is uneven stroke thickness. So with calligraphy and brush lettering, obviously the stroke thickness is very important because that is what makes it stand out amongst like just regular handwriting and cursive. Now, the most difficult letters to control this with are usually ones that have a curve. So, again, working on the drills will drastically help you with your control on the stroke thickness. You should be able to do an upstroke and then a downstroke and then an upstroke again with consistent line widths. At number 3, we have inconsistent letter spacing. So this is one that is pretty obvious, but sometimes when you're doing brush lettering, you don't really notice these things because you're just focusing on the strokes. So you really want a consistent space between letters. That is what will make it look neat and even and flowing. Now, one thing that can help with this is looking at your exit stroke. Your exit stroke is the stroke that's coming off of the letter when you're done writing it. So you want the angle to be the same because basically when it's the same, it's ensuring that you will have correct spacing in between the letters. You also want it to be the same length as well. So you don't want one to be super long while the other one is super short. If you're interested in learning calligraphy, I have a free calligraphy basics course that is in the description. It will give you over an hour of online instruction and free worksheets as well. Number 4 is poor paper choice. So there are different papers that are better for brush pens than others. So the first thing to think of is, what is my purpose? If your purpose is that you want to do some blending, then you would not want to use a very thin paper, like a marker paper. Marker paper is very thin. It's great for writing single words or words with just a single color. But with this paper, I am trying to blend, and you will notice, first of all, it goes through within the first coat. Of course, yeah, I did a couple layers, but with blending, you're always going to do a couple layers. So you need a thicker paper. Another example would be using a thicker, more toothy paper that has more texture with a small nib brush pen. It's very hard to control the small nib brush pen on a paper that has a lot more texture because you can see all those imperfections. So if you're going for that, great. But if not, then you don't want to use a small nib brush pen on like a watercolor paper. Number 5 is rushed or hesitant strokes. So One thing that is different from brush lettering to cursive is that brush lettering is really specific and intentional movements. With cursive, you're just writing everything on one line. So in calligraphy, you really do have to slow it down, and each motion has to be intentional. And that's one thing that I think social media doesn't show you, is because everything is sped up. But really, when brush lettering artists write, they're not writing really fast. So you have to slow down and make each motion intentional. Number 6 mistake is neglecting brush maintenance. So it's super important that you take care of your brush pens. They are expensive, and I know that. And so you really want to make sure that you, first of all, know how to store these brush pens. If you don't store them in the correct way, they're going to just dry up. That's the first thing. Also, with brush pens, you want to make sure that you use them on a good paper, a smooth paper. So this Sharpie brush pen has taken a toll, and it has been used on different surfaces because I was testing it on multiple surfaces, and that's what happens. It completely damages the brush nib, and then you can't use it to its full functional ability. This Tombow pen, the lid was left slightly uncapped, and you may think it's common sense, obviously put the lid on, but some of them don't cap very easily, so you have to watch out for that. At number 7, we have ignoring consistency in size and style. It's very important when you are doing brush lettering to keep everything consistent, especially when you are first learning. I know people want to jump right ahead into the like bouncy style of brush lettering, and it looks as though the letters are all different sizes, but really it's just the way that they're positioned. So you really want to, when you're first learning, keep everything consistent. Don't change the style, don't change the size, keep it the same. That's how you're going to master and have a great foundation before you start trying to do all these other fancy things. One thing that helps with this is using a paper that has a grid line so you can keep your letters spaced equally, and that will really help you to have consistent lettering. The number 8 mistake is the lack of planning and sketching. Now, if you are just practicing away, then don't worry about sketching things out and planning everything out that you're going to write. Just practice. But if you are creating a piece for someone, some people might just go all in and just go for it, later to find out that they absolutely ruined it and they hated it. And that's because they didn't plan and sketch things out. So right now, I'm just going to sketch out the word calligraphy. And this helps me to know, is this word going to fit in this space, in this area? Is it going to be centered to where I want it? I can even add flourishes, which helps when I sketch those out, because I'm not 100% comfortable just flourishing without sketching things out ahead of time. So this really gives me a guide, shows me how much room I have, and you know that you're not going to run off of the page. Yes, I have run off the page. I did it in this same video. So it happens to everybody, even if you're more experienced. Mistake number 9 is overlooking letter connections. Now, you wouldn't think of this one and how the letters connect, but this is actually really important, and you want the connections to be consistent. Now, when you're beginning, a lot of people get really excited when on the end strokes, and sometimes they may put the end strokes a little bit too high, which means that if you have a curved letter like an A or a C, the tail end of the end stroke might stick above that. And so you really don't want that, and you have to pay attention. You can always lengthen your end strokes to connect the letters, but you can't shorten it. So if you accidentally make it too long, well, then that will make your whole piece off, because if you make it too long, then you have to start the letter further away, which will then lead to spacing mistakes. One way to fix this is to work on the consistency of your end strokes. And again, even if your end stroke is a little bit too short, you can just connect it. Now, mistake number 10 is the fear of experimentation. I want you guys to know that I have made tons of mistakes in my brush lettering career, and I've done tons of things that were unexpected, but a lot of those things just helped me learn some things that I like and helped me learn some things that I did not like. Experimenting can really push you out of your comfort zone, and that is how I've come up with a lot of techniques that I've had, because I have gone outside of my comfort zone and tried something new that I wasn't used to or comfortable with. As you start to get more comfortable with brush lettering, I do want to encourage you guys to try a different style, try a different pen on a different paper. Try some things like a blending technique that you haven't done before, and this will just basically open up your skills and help you to learn new things that can only help you in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any other mistakes that you guys think you are making, please let me know down below in the comments, and I will help you guys figure those out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.